Hello and welcome to Politikos. Today we'll know about English, the words, the fun, the pun, and all that. Today we'll try to know about some words and how they have come into public use and who had coined those words first. I'll tell you some words: Cold War, Banana Republic, Tween, Twitter, Factoid, Butterfingers, Debunk. They are some of the words we'll be discussing today. First, to start with, we'll take up Cold War. For Cold War, the climate need not be cold. For that matter, there need not be a war at all. The Cold War was used more than its utility. This phrase has been very much in use when Soviet Union was there as a superpower and challenging the US. After the Soviet Union has disintegrated, the Cold War is not in very much use. But let us see who coined the phrase, where and how. The phrase was used by British author and journalist George Orwell, who is popular for his two books, 1984 and Animal Farm. The two books analyze totalitarianism and other forms of political extremism. Records suggest that Orwell first used the phrase Cold War in his essay You and the Atom Bomb on October 19, 1945. Obviously, the essay is about atom bomb and its geopolitical implications. Cold War here means, I quote, that this nuclear political conflict would build on stalled tensions and the idea of mutually assured destruction rather than an outright war. He said it in 1945, and the Cold War began much later, which makes Orwell think ahead of times. The phrase was also popularized by journalist Walter Lippmann as well. A world living in the shadow of nuclear war, a peace that is no peace, is referred to as Cold War. Okay, now, Tween, the word tween, Lord of the Rings. It's a famous book and is also a famous movie with the same name and was well received. J.R.R. Tolkien, the master of fantasy, wrote the book, and he is the person who coined the word tween. What does tween mean? Well, it originates from the word teen. Tween came into being much later. It refers to a young adult or someone who is in the tender age between 9 and 12. Tolkien used it in Lord of the Rings to describe Hobbit's teen years between childhood and his age of 33. Well, this word is not very much in vogue now. The next word I'm going to tell you is factoid. It was Norman Mailer who used the word, rather defined it. Before knowing about the word, I'll tell you about Norman. Norman Mailer belongs to a new journalism movement. Mailer first coined the term in his highly popular biography, Marilyn Monroe, called Monroe. Factoids are, in his own words, facts which have no existence before appearing in a magazine or newspaper, creations which are not so much lies as a product to manipulate emotion in the silent majority. It's a very complex sentence. Anyway, the dictionary meaning of today describes factoid as an item of unreliable information that is reported and repeated so often that it becomes accepted as a fact. I think now there is clarity. Now, next one is a very popular one, that is Twitter. Now it's called X. Now, where does this Twitter come originally? Okay, I have to tell you a name. The name is Geoffrey Chaucer, may be a forgotten name as he belongs to the time of medieval literature. Chaucer is a big daddy of this form of literature, and his famous work, The Canterbury Tales, is a collection of stories told by traveling peasants about strange occurrences in their lives and was published in 15th century. Besides the incredible literature, Chaucer gave to the world very common words we use today, of which one is Twitter. The word was first used in Chaucer's 1380 translation, in which he used the word to describe the light chirping of birds. The word flew over for centuries and eventually found its way into the 21st century internet and became twitter.com, of course, now X. Okay. Banana Republic. I think you remember this word. Many may not know about William Sidney Porter. Yes, William Sidney Porter. But he is well known by his pen name, that's O. Henry. Yeah. O. Henry first coined the term Banana Republic while he was living in Honduras. American fruit companies held a considerable monopoly on Central American countries, which inspired Henry to write a short story about cabbages and kings that was written in 1904. The phrase Banana Republic was used to describe the story's fictional country, and it mirrored exactly as Honduras with its exploitation, sovereignty deficit, and political corruption. A banana republic is usually a totalitarian nation with poor living conditions and a weak economy, dependent on natural resources like bananas. His phrase neatly conjures up the image of a tropical agrarian country, but its real meaning is sharper. It refers to the fruit companies from United States that came to exert extraordinary influence over the politics of Honduras and its neighbors. Debunk. Right. American novelist and historian William Woodward and historian, some of his works include A New American History, Meet General Grant, Bunk, and the like. Bunk is a satirical novel that challenges American culture and societal norms. Throughout the novel, Woodward breaks apart myths and the half-truths long held in American society, and he uses the word debunk within the novel to describe this. To debunk means to criticize misinformation and get the truth straight. This word has come in handy in the post-truth era of mass media. Now, I think one more word, Butterfingers. Butterfingers everyone knows. It's a Cadbury, a cheese, chocolate and all that. Charles Dickens, the sound of that name brings to one's mind Great Expectations, David Copperfield, A Tale of Two Cities, and many other books. Many people must have read about his childhood life and times. But what very few people know is that he has created the word Butterfingers. The word usually refers to a clumsy person who has a nasty habit of dropping things from their hands. Dickens' first novel, The Pickwick Papers, is where the term first appeared when the book was published in 1836. He uses the term to lampoon particularly clumsy cricket players in the satirical story. In later days, the word has been identified with chocolate bar. Thank you very much, viewers. See you in the next episode. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.
Please subscribe to the channel and download the Politikos app from the links in the description.